Equivalent equations 2. Your objective. Today I will solve the equations by finding the value of the variable. You'll need paper and pencil for this lesson. Let's review balanced equations from the video yesterday. Here's a sample number. A plus some 7 equals 15. Well, if we take a look at this, yesterday you were asked to bring down that caret, so it's A plus some number equals 15. The value that we need to have it equal is 15. So that's why we're going to write it down below. And read this statement. Remember, they need to be balanced. 15 is the same as 15. They're the same number, so they're the same. What we need to do is figure out what A is. So what number plus 7 is going to give us 15? If you said A, you're correct. 8 plus 7 is 15. So the value of A, in this case, is 8. And remember, A is a variable. And that means that its value can vary. It's not always going to be 8. It's going to change depending on the problem. Okay, let's look at this. We're going to do subtraction now. 9 minus 2 is equal to A. There's our variable. So what is 9 minus 2? You say 7. So remember, both sides need to be equal. So to make this 7, it's just a simple linear problem like we're used to. 9 minus 2 equals 7. So A is equal to 7. Now generally when you have variables, your final answer is going to state the variable, which is A, and then you're going to say what it's equal to. Okay, now we're looking at 8 minus A equals 2. You can write, this is horizontal, and you can also rewrite it to go vertical. But first of all, I want to go over and look at the stars. We're going to count these stars. Since they're in pairs, let's count by 2s. 2s, 4, 6, 8. There are 8 stars. It says we're going to take some away. That's what the A is. 8 minus some number is going to leave us with 2. We have 2 left over. So let's go ahead and circle the 2 left over that we should have. And we can take a look and see how many are left. 2, 4, 6. So if we substitute a 6 for A, let's ask ourselves if it makes sense. We started with 8 stars. If we take 6 away, we're left with 2. That's correct. Well, another way we can look at it is if you write it vertically. So 8 minus some number leaves us with 2. And we said that was 6. Now remember, when we do subtraction, you can check your answers. And I always want you to check your answers when you do subtraction. And to do that, you take how many you have left over, which is 2. You're going to do the opposite. Instead of taking it away, you're going to add back in the 6. And that's going to tell you how many you actually started with. 2 plus 6 is 8. If this answer is the same as what you started with when you subtracted, that means you got them correct. Well, there's another way to look at this. Let's say you don't know that this is a 6. It's a more difficult problem for you. You can ask yourself backwards, 2 plus what number is going to give me 8? So you can check it, and that'll help you figure out what the answer is for the subtraction. Many times addition is a lot easier for kids than subtraction. So sometimes when you have a problem like this, it's easier to work it backwards. Put 2 in your head, count up until you hit 8, and you'll find that you have 6. Okay, here's a number. Some number, we're going to take 3 away, equals 7. I bet a lot of you said the answer was 4. That is not correct. Watch what happens if we use 4 and we write it vertically. If I have 4 and I take 3 away, what is that answer? It's 1. It is not 7. Anytime you have the variable in the first spot, you need to be very, very careful. They are tricky. So if we look at this, it is not 4 minus 3. Okay? So look back at that sign again. It is not 4. We're going to take a look at how to solve this. Okay, here's another caution sign. We'll move this out of the way. Some number, take away 5, is going to leave us with 10. So if we write it vertically, we're going to do C minus 5, let me fix that C, is going to leave us with 10. Now remember what I told you earlier about checking your answers and how that's going to help you? It will help you in this case. If you go backwards, you take 10. We're going to add 5 more, because originally this was the 5 taken away. This should give us C. What is 10 plus 5? If you said 15, you are correct. So this C right here, this answer gave us 15. Okay, so let's take a look at this. If we try to move this over, if we have 15 and we're going to take 5 away from it, are we left with 10? We are. So a lot of times when you have a problem where the variable is the first one and then you're taking a number away, you need to be very, very careful, because a lot of kids would have said the answer to this is 5, and that's not correct. If you stop and think about your answers, 5 minus 5 is 0, not 10. A lot of times what happens is kids get in a big fat hurry and they want to get their worksheet done or they want to get their problems done and they rush through it. You need to stop and think, does this make sense? And if you would have said this was 5, you knew it didn't make sense, because 5 minus 5 is 0. Anytime you have the variable first, the number is going to be larger than the answer. And a lot of times it is easier if you write it up and down vertically. So if you do C and then take away 5 is equal to 10, and then you check your answer, go backwards, 10, opposite, plus 5, and that'll give you 15. Here's another caution. Y minus 6 equals 2. The answer is not 4. Remember, when your variable's first and you are taking away, your answer that the variable is must be larger than one of these two numbers. So let's write it up and down vertically. Y minus 6 is going to leave us with 2. All right, if you check it, like we've been practicing for the past week, 2 weeks, it should be easy to get. Let's start with the 2. Sorry, that doesn't look much like a 2. Here we go. We're going to do the opposite. We're going to add 6 back in. And this should tell us how many we started with. 8. So if we come over here where the y is, and we put an 8 in the spot, 8 takes 6 away from it, and we're left with 2. Does that make sense? Absolutely. So 8, written this horizontal way, minus 6, leaves us with 2. So again, be very cautious when your variable is first and you're doing subtraction. You will copy the following problems down onto a piece of paper. Complete the problems and then bring them to school tomorrow as your receipt that you did your math homework by watching this video. So pause the video, copy the problems down, and then hit play. Okay, today I solved the equations by finding the value of the variable, and today we concentrated on subtraction. Don't forget to do your problems.